All right, everybody, welcome to the video here for lesson number 3's homework assignment. So in lesson number 3, we learned how to extend the domain of sine and cosine past 360 and below 0. So let's try a couple questions here. So for number 1, it asks us to determine the following angle, the quadrant, and state its reference angle. It doesn't even say to sketch it, so we don't have to do that. So 690 is too big. So if I subtract 360 from 690, I get 330. So we'll start by doing that. 330 terminates in quadrant 3. So that's one answer. To find the reference angle, not in quadrant 3, in quadrant 4. That was a mistake. All right. The reference angle in quadrant 4 is to take 360 and subtract the angle. Remember, you're using this angle we found. So the reference angle here is 30 degrees. $1560 is really big. $1560, if I subtract 360 once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, I'll finally get 120, which is a quadrant 2 angle. Again, just keep subtracting 360 till you get a number that's between 0 and 360. In quadrant 2, the rule for their reference angle is to take 180 and subtract the angle. Again, we're using this angle we just found. So the reference angle here is just 60 degrees. 855 is also too big, so I'll subtract 360. That's not small enough, and then do it one more time. So if I subtract 360 twice, I get 135, which is also a quadrant 2 angle. The rule for quadrant 2 is to take the reference angle, 180, minus the angle. Again, we're using this angle, 135. So the reference angle becomes just 45 degrees. Okay. Negative numbers. Negative numbers, instead of subtracting 360, we're going to add 360. So negative 330 plus 360 gives us 30 degrees. That's the same. So that's in quadrant 1. The reference angle in quadrant 1 is just the angle that you have. So 30 degrees is your reference angle, whatever this answer was. Negative 510. Add 360. It's still negative. So guess what you have to do? You have to add it again. And we get 210. So negative 510 and positive 210 terminate at the same spot, meaning negative 510 terminates in quadrant 3. 210 is a quadrant 3 angle. The reference angle for quadrant 3 is to take the angle 210. Again, we're using this new angle we found and subtracting 180. So my reference angle is 30 degrees. Negative 135. If I add 360 to that, I get 225, which also is in quadrant 3. So the reference angle for quadrant 3 is to take the angle we have, 225, subtract 180. So the reference angle is 45 degrees. All right, let's talk unit circle. So all of our angles that terminate on an axis, these are all going to be zeros, ones, or negative ones, all depending on where they are. Do not use your calculator for this. I want you to use the unit circle. So off to the side, let's just draw a quick unit circle. You could look back in your notes too if you don't want to draw this again. So here's your unit circle. I'm going to label all of my points. I'm just labeling all the points around the unit circle so I know where I'm at. So also we have to remember any point on the unit circle is in the form of cosine of the angle, comma sine of the angle. So when it says cosine of 90, we're up here at 90 degrees. Cosine is the x value, so that's 0. When it says sine of 90, we're up here at 90 degrees. That's the y value, so the sine of 90 is 1. Cosine of 360. 360 and 0 are the same thing, so we're over here at 0 degrees. Cosine's the x value, so that's 1. Sine is the y value, so that's 0. 180, we're over here to the left, right? We're over here on the left-hand side of the x-axis. The sine is the y value, so that's 0. The cosine is the x value, so that's negative 1. 270, we're down here at the bottom part of the y-axis. The sine is the y value, so that's 1. The cosine is the x value at that point, so that's 0. And then we have some interesting ones here at the bottom. So 450. 450 is too big, so if I subtract 360, this is the same as the sine of 90. Sine of 90 we already know is 1. Cosine at 0 degrees. At 0 degrees, the x value is 1. Negative 90, we don't like negatives, so let's add 360 to that. That's going to be the same as the sine of 270. 270 is down here, right? At 270, the y value is negative 1. That's a mistake up here. Make sure you fix that. I forgot my negative there. And negative 270, if I add 360, I'm at 90. So if we're up here at 90 degrees, what's the cosine value? That is going to be 0. Hopefully that made sense and you got a lot of that correct on your own. I think that's the homework. That is the homework. And I will see you all soon.